focus my presentation on trademarks and copyrights in the United States, and also will talk very briefly about some of the changes that have occurred in the last few days in patent law in the US. So let's first look at trademarks or brands. What are the key considerations for branding? One, how do you develop rights in the United States? And two, how do you maintain those rights? In the US, use is the most important consideration. So if you don't use your mark in the US, you don't have any rights. You get a registration, you stop using the mark, you lose rights, and you can't renew or you can't maintain the registration successfully. So you have to use. But what is use? Use is bona fide commercial use. So it's not enough that you ship one box of your products into the United States merely for the purpose of maintaining trademark rights. It has to be commercial use. It might be that one box, but if you're shipping legitimately into the United States, that would be considered as use. And the use must be either interstate commerce or in commerce between India and the US. Interstate meaning that if you're using a mark, the product that on which the mark is born must cross state lines. So you can, if you're shipping from New York to New Jersey, that would be enough. But if you're using within New York, that is not considered as use for the purposes of federal trademark law. I want to discuss two cases very briefly. One of them, very interestingly, involves an Indian brand. It was ITC versus Panchgani, which was decided by the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, which is in New York. In this case, there were employees of the Bacara restaurant, former employees of the Bacara restaurant in Moria Sheraton Hotel in Delhi, that started their own Bacara grill restaurant, and that's what their restaurant looks like from the outside. Not only did they copy the name Bacara, but they also copied the decor of the Bacara restaurant in the Moria Hotel. The waiters wore the same kinds of uniforms. Their menus were very similar. ITC was obviously not happy about this and brought a lawsuit, and they lost. They lost because the court said that there was no infringement because ITC had not used the Bacara mark in the US. They had two restaurants, one in Chicago and one in New York, but the restaurants closed in the mid-1990s, and ITC had not made use of the Bacara mark for restaurants since 1997.